Okay, thank you for joining us. If you are here with us live, or if you happen to be watching this recording after the presentation has already been made, you are at the Colleges of Law information session. We have a number of guests with us today, including the president of the school, Dr. Matt Niemer. We also have one of our deans, Jeannie Ikes, from the Masters of Business Law and Technology program. We have our counselor, Joshua Sanchez, who is mainly working with the Ventura on-site JD students. And we have a student, a current student, Michelle, Ashley Bonilla, who is in her fourth year at the Colleges of Law. And she is so enthusiastic about the program and loves the Colleges of Law and volunteered to come and answer any questions that anybody may have. We're going to go through the presentation pretty briefly. Once we're done with the presentation, we'll have the opportunity to answer some questions. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat. And once we get towards the end of the presentation, we will address your questions one by one. So getting started, I'd like to turn the mic over to Dr. Niemer, who is always likes to be present at these meetings because he likes to see and hear from the people that are looking at the program for the first time. And I'm sure he has encouraging words like he always does when you see him in the building.
Well, thank you, Shannon. I just have a few minutes, so I'll just say hi and then head off, give the presentation back to Shannon. But just wanted to welcome and acknowledge all of you for just your interest, not just in the colleges of law, but your interest in this work. The world needs you doing this work, and there's a lot of work to do. And whether you're looking to join us in the spring or next fall, just thrilled to have you. And I think we'll have a good program tonight, a lot of information. Shannon put this together pretty fast because we had so many people not able to join us at the last information session. I said, can we get one more in before spring? She said, let me give it a shot. And she did, and here we all are. But and Ashley, just welcome you. Just been thrilled to have you with us these past 3.5 years. And we're gonna miss you. In a few months, Ashley, I love this slide. You're gonna be one of those graduates up in the upper right there. You can see just off stage there. And for those of you with us from Santa Barbara, you might recognize this image. This is the Hilton Beachfront Resort Hotel. It's right there on Cabrillo. And that's the ocean on the other side of that road there in the back. Wonderful event. We're going to be holding it there again this April. We have a very distinguished honorary degree recipient. If you don't know who he is, look him up. His name is Dean Erwin Chemerinsky. He is the Dean of the Berkeley School of Law and one of the most prominent, nationally recognized scholars, legal scholars, especially in constitution law. So he'll be with us for this very special occasion. And I'm going to be available. If you have any questions, happy to help as well. Just about the school, about our history, about what we're all about. So Shannon can make that connection. So Shannon, I'm going to send it back to you to take us through this journey. I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I hope to see all of you with us this spring, if not spring, for fall.
Yeah.
Until next
Thank you so much, Dr. Niemer. Have a good evening. Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to move to the next slide, and just to give you a brief overview of what's going to happen tonight, we're going to do a brief overview of all of the programs that we offer, just so that you know that we offer more than just Juris Doctor programs and some of the options that you have when looking at our school. We are going to go into a little bit of detail about the Master of Business Law and Technology with Dean Ikes, who will present those slides, just so you understand the objective of the master's program and what we offer for in the online realm. We're going to talk about the colleges of law, the history, some of the opportunities that you will have as a student with us, and our mission vision. And that's very important to all of us because we are all a part of creating that mission vision. We'll go over briefly what the classes look like for years 1 through 4 in the JD curriculum. And then we're going to go into some detail about study abroad, the Colleges of Law alumni membership, and how that benefits you once you've already graduated, the benefits of continuing to be a member of the Colleges of Law. And then we will do a deep dive into the JD application requirements, which For some that have already been through the process, you don't have to stay for that part. But for those that are considering applying, this is a really valuable opportunity to hear about each specific requirement and what the committee is looking for. It's like helpful hints going into the process so that you have a good understanding of and don't have to be fearful of the process of applying. So to start out, uh, this is a slide that just gives you an overview of the programs that we offer. We have our Juris Doctor programs. There's two. There's one in the Santa Barbara County and there's one in the Ventura County. They are separate, but they're the same program, same curriculum, just two different buildings. This program is specifically for those that live in the counties. So if you're in the Santa Barbara County, anywhere from Santa Maria down to Carpinteria, definitely you want to consider the on-site program because of the benefits. And we will talk about that in the slide presentation. Same with Ventura. If you're Carpinteria down to as far as the valley or beyond, there are benefits to being in those local environments. So being able to attend class in person and on campus, if you're in a location that is commutable, there are benefits. I'll briefly go over the hybrid. The hybrid is 70% online and 30% in person. What that looks like is that in person is done at residencies that happen in Pasadena, California. What that means is once a month, all day Saturday and half day Sunday, you are required to be at the Pasadena campus. If you live in the LA area, if you live in Northern California, any part of California outside of the local Santa Barbara or Ventura counties, the Hybrid J.D. would be something you could consider. Important to know about it, and I'll just mention one more thing about it. It's set up like a self-directed program. There are no live lectures during the week or Zoom meetings. So you are given assignments, you're giving objectives to meet, and it's a lot of work within the Canvas platform. So just be aware that you have to be very strong in the online realm and very self-directed and motivated, and then also be able to attend those in-persons, which could require hotel accommodations if need be, if you're not close to the Pasadena area. Then we're going to go into the master's program. Jeannie's going to tell you a little bit more about that. Next slide. And the additional programs that we offer are via the master's, so to speak, but they are certificate programs. And these are opportunities to take specific classes that you're interested in. And if you put them all together, they can become a master's. So that being said, Dean Ikes, if you would like to, oh, why is it there? Oh, sorry, went one too
That's
far.
all
There you
right.
go.
I'd
Let you
like
take over.
I'd like to kick things off. The master's program it can actually, if you take the accelerated portion of the master's program, you can get the whole master's done in 14 months, which is a great asset for folks that are trying to further your career, right? For some folks, that's a 5 or 10% salary boost in 14 months, right? For the tuition, which comes in right around 23,000. So you end up paying that off within the first few years with that 10% salary boost. So I really want to encourage people who are looking for that not licensure pathway, but still want to work with the law, to think seriously about, the pros and cons of a JD versus a master's degree. And to help you think about that a little bit, why a master's in business law and technology and not a Juris Doctorate? I have a Juris Doctorate. So obviously I'm not a detractor from the Juris Doctorate, but I do think you can be strategic in how you think about which degree better suits your planned career outcomes and your goals. So this image is really simple, but it might help you understand that the legal ecosystem is this huge sphere, and I think of it like a donut, right? And so that meat portion of the donut are the places you can work within the legal industry without licensure, without passing the bar exam. And these positions range anywhere, you can start at, the 75,000 range, and they range all the way up to 150 plus a year for these kinds of positions. So when you're thinking about career options, the JD is a great pathway, but the master's has these wonderful compliance, lobbying, and other types of careers that we'll talk about in the next slide. If you're talking, going back to the previous slide, if you're talking about, pardon me, if you're talking about the area where you need to have a JD, that's a much smaller area, and that is specifically focused on giving legal advice, right? And so, as I'm sure Ashley has learned doing the MPRE and all of those other things, there's something called the unauthorized practice of law, and you never want to be in that camp, right? And that's the camp you're in, and I am boiling this down to its easiest part here by saying it's when you give advice without passing a bar exam and without licensure. All right. And so that's a much smaller set of careers that do require, in fact, a JD and licensure. What are some of the career options for a master's degree? Careers like compliance. Compliance is things like healthcare, HR, all different areas and where the law intersects a profession, right? We just had a vice president of human resources for the Salk Institute. Some of you may be familiar with the Salk Institute, who took our program, went through it, and is applying it in the Salk Institute to help do compliance issues in the human resources realm. His capstone project was very exciting. He put the employee handbook in, and over employees of the Salk Institute, there's over 200 different languages represented. And he put that employee handbook into an artificial intelligence chatbot so that individual employees could make inquiries of that handbook and get responses back about the requirements for their company, the Salk Institute. So really exciting capstone projects designed towards your career and your career outcomes. So there's e-discoveries. A lot of you that are paralegals worked in the e-discovery area. You're going to know what that is. That's really the process of getting all of the information and documents gathered together as evidence and producing that evidence to the other side. Legal entrepreneurship, legal technology. I'm going to buzz through some of these. Data governance is another type of regulation and compliance, but it is specific and very focused, and you see it a lot in the accounting firms. So the big accounting houses often have data governance roles. Legal operations is a whole nother sphere. It is the sort of plus 5 steps up from the paralegal, and it's doing the business of law. There are organizations and career choices around this that can take you all the way through C-suite operations. So really great choices here. And then government lobbying and policy. People think you have to have a JD to lobby. In fact, you do not. And a master's of law can get you in a good position to do this kind of lobbying. And then on the right side, you can see sort of a listing of courses that are involved in the master's program. I'm going to hang out here and maybe even pop on when Shannon talks about the study abroad, since I led our trip to London this past year. And so any questions, I will be here for you.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. I forgot that you were there. That's a great opportunity to lead into information about that part of the program tonight. So let's get this slide moved here. For some reason, it's not moving. Okay. Oh, one too far. I mentioned our mission and vision at the Colleges of Law. The Colleges of Law mission is to provide access to law and law-related professions by emphasizing 5 objectives, which we all come together as a team, as staff and members of the Colleges of Law, and we determine what is important to our school and what is important to represent us and who we are. And these are the words that we all collaboratively came up together with: student-focused, inclusive, community, excellence, and integrity. And we stand by those words. It's a part of our mission statement, and our vision is to be pioneer in modernizing legal education. And in that, with the evolution of where the master's has come to, from what it used to be to our hybrid Juris Doctor program, we were the first California bar accredited law school to launch an online JD program for the California bar system. So we were pioneers. And I was here at the school 9 years ago when we launched that program, and we were still building out the curriculum for it. And it is so successful now because of that modernizing of legal education. So as you know, California bar licensure, it's very important. You must pass the bar to become a licensed attorney in the state of California. So with our accreditation, there's no baby bars, there's not even any LSAT requirements. But once you complete your JD program, the 84 unit program that we offer, you are then eligible to sit for the California bar. Before that, you're going to do what's called Barbary Bar Prep Program, which is going to prepare you. It's an 8-week intensive bar prep program. And we'll go a little more into that as well. Let me let somebody in here that joined. So I'm going to continue here and we'll keep moving. Our excellence, our mission to excellence, excellence, equity, engagement. We are WASC accredited along with our CalBAR accreditation. What that means is we are able to, well, first we have to go through a very extensive evaluation of our programs, our curriculum, our everything from our catalog to anything that we do, how we keep our paperwork, everything from students, information to how the colleges of law holds its documents. This is a big accreditation. It's what allows us to be Title IV authorized to use financial aid to fund the program. So we are very strong in that accreditation. We're very proud of that accreditation, and we're a member of an education system that allows us strength and unity with other schools that are part of our system. We're going to go a little deeper into the on-site JD program, the hybrid. Again, if you have any questions about that program or want more information, please speak to whoever you're working with as far as your counselor is, and we can provide you with more details. But right now we're going to talk about the on-site JD program. It's an evening program, 3 nights a week, considered part-time, but it will feel very full-time because you'll be taking 3 classes a week, and that's per term. And it's a total of 84 units to complete the program. It will take anywhere from 3.5 to 4 years. And the way that you can determine what that looks like if you're trying to find a pathway to start, consider the spring start as spreading the JD out a little further. So the spring starts, it will take a full 4 years, but you're spreading your coursework out a little bit thinner because you are starting by taking some elective courses, 6 units to be exact, in the spring. You'll then take 3 units in the summer, and then you start the 3 classes, 3 nights a week in the fall of 26. So some people really appreciate that spring start because they can start at a little slower pace and move into the heavier coursework of the 1L program in August of 26. The Santa Barbara campus is Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday evenings. The Ventura campus is Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. If, for example, there's a holiday, like we have Veterans Day coming up, we try to celebrate some of the major holidays, but you don't ever really just get a break from law school on a Monday night. So usually if there's a Monday or Tuesday holiday, chances are the makeup class will be Wednesday night. Sorry to inform you of that, but it's kind of how law school is. And then the summer classes take place 6:30 to 9:30, Monday through Thursday. And it really depends on which classes you take and how many units you're taking, which nights of the week you would attend. So As I mentioned, for the spring curriculum coming up, starts January 5th. You'll be taking a combination of 6 units. One of the nights of the week is divided into 2 separate courses. That's why you see 3 classes instead of 2. So they took 8 weeks as an intro to law, and then the second half of that class is litigation process. And then the other night of the week, you're going to take a 3-unit class, Intro to Legal Fundamentals, which is the full 15 to 16-week term. Then you have your summer, where you'll take 1 elective course, and that's a 3-unit course. And then you head into fall. If you're considering fall as an application period that you're interested in, that application will open next month. It opens up December 1st, to be exact. So you can apply anytime between December 1st and about July 15th, more or less. That's the period of time. I will say, don't wait until July. You can wait until the new year comes, but there are some benefits to applying early. Applying between January and March will guarantee that if you are eligible for any of our admissions scholarships, you would be considered within that time. For the spring, we may have some scholarship opportunities, but that's to be discussed, and we can discuss that individually with you if you're an applicant currently. So first year, we're going to talk about the fall. You're going to be taking classes like legal analysis and writing, contracts, torts, and crim law. You'll see 2 of those classes as 6 units. That's because those are 1-year courses. So if you start in the fall term, you're going to take the first part of contracts in the fall semester, and then when you come back in the new year, you do the second part. Same with contracts and torts. And then second year, you do classes like wills and trusts, civil procedure, which is another 1-year class, community property, real property. Then you get into your third year, you take classes like constitutional law, evidence, business associations, professional responsibility, and remedies. And then the fourth year, we have a bar prep class that you're going to be taking as a 4L student. And then you'll also have a class, constitutional criminal procedure. Summer classes, they include some of the smaller units that you'll be required to take. So this is a year-round program. We operate much like the community colleges, where we have 3 terms a year. You have the upcoming spring, then summer, then fall. In the summer is when you take elective courses. So that is when you'll have some units that are required, some 1 to 2 unit courses like legal writing, appellate advocacy, legal research, and so forth. Those are going to be required courses, but then you also get the opportunity to choose your own electives. This is just a sample of some of the electives that we offer. Does not include all of them, and not all of these will be offered every summer. They will rotate in as you are a student, and depending on the interest of our student body, oftentimes the deans will do a survey to find out where the interest is and what types of law people are wanting to learn about, and they will get someone to teach those courses during the summer. They could be offered at the Santa Barbara campus or the Ventura. You have the option to attend either campus if you're on the local on-site program. You'll also have the opportunity, and even more so now, you just see 1 class here online, but you will have the opportunity to take multiple classes online, because they are allowing some of our on-site students to take more of the hybrid online courses. So this is a benefit for summer and for those that may not want to have to be in the building every night of the week.
The MBLT courses are also available for summer students for electives.
That's right. And they could include master's and JD students. So a lot of, mixed bags of opportunities in the summertime. One of our missions is opportunity and affordability. And I just looked these numbers up yesterday to make sure I was providing the accurate, amounts. Places like Pepperdine School of Law, they're the ABA accredited program that's about an hour and a half south of Santa Barbara. The tuition, you're looking at $72,920 a year times 3 years. That's $218,000. Now, I will also say that does not include fees. It does not include summer courses. It does not include student health insurance and parking and this permit and that permit. I looked it up and I'm like, I can't even list all these fees. You can assume that you're going to pay close to $300,000 for an education there. Now, I'm not discounting the education you would receive at Pepperdine University. It's stellar university with very high level academics. It's also a very widely respected program, but you pay for that cost, and you also have to relocate. If you live in Santa Barbara or Ventura, you have to relocate to attend that program because it's usually brick and mortar. UCLA School of Law, same thing, little different price, a little bit lower, 61,000 and some change a year times 3. That comes to almost 200,000. So moving into the colleges of law, very proud to say $971 a unit times 84 units, $81,000, $564 for the entire program. We do not do hidden fees. There's only an additional small Cal Bar fee now, just based on the recent fees that they're charging. They went up a little bit. So there's like a $37 fee or something somewhere, either on a yearly or term basis. But we stand by our affordability, and the president really makes that a priority because we are a nonprofit. We want to be accessible to our community, and we stand about right in the middle of all Cal Bar schools and what we charge. The bar prep program, I mentioned a little bit about the fact that once you finish your 84 units, you'll be doing an intensive bar prep program. And you can do that on your own, or we designate classrooms on each of the campuses for you to come in and study. And these students are there from morning to evening. They're closing up shop for us. They're on campus sometimes. And what we have done to beef up the bar prep program is we have 2 deans that are there specifically for student success and bar prep. These deans are helping you with MBEs, essays, simulations, bar prep, targeting, and they're actually assessing your writing skills. And you do a number of courses in that 8-week period of time that are offered online through the bar prep program. This is all included in that tuition I mentioned in the slide before. This is not an additional cost. So this is included in your program. We are walking you to the door of that bar exam if your choice is to take that test and to become a licensed attorney in California. They even go down to the bar and they take them lunch. I mean, who does that? You don't hear about that at other law schools, but the colleges of law were made different. Again, California Bar, the Bar Pass, you've always heard likely that California is one of the hardest tests to take. We've been known as the second hardest test next to New York because of our Bar Pass rate or the Bar Pass score. They've recently lowered that score. It's a little bit easier. It's helped a lot of the Bar Pass rates across all the law schools in California and ABA wide because that score was lowered for people to pass a little bit better. Currently, we stand by our MPR, which is the last 10 test scores, and our rate is 68.1%. So to give you an idea, California Bar accredited programs have to pass the bar at a 40% or higher rate. They have to pass their students, 40% of them, in order to maintain our accreditation. ABA schools, where the bars are set a little higher, the classes are harder, it's a little more expensive, and you got to take a test, the LSAT, to get into them, they have to pass at a 70% or higher rate. So, we're right there along with them in our bar pass rate, and we're very proud of that. And we have really worked hard to make our bar prep program what it is today, and we're finding that that's reflected in the numbers, as you can see. Mission of our community, we are taught by our local judges, attorneys, leaders in the field of law. So again, when we talk about on-site versus hybrid, the benefit of being in the on-site classroom is that you are taught by the local legal environment in your community. This is a chance to engage with other professionals. These are opportunities for internships. This is creating those relationships in your community that you want to create, because knowing people, as we know, will get you much further than anything else. And not only are you creating the relationships with your professors, but the people that are next to you in your cohort become your closest friends and colleagues and referrals for business in the future. So there is a lot of benefit of being in an in-person classroom and having that kind of in-person experience. Our alumni, once you graduate from the colleges of law, whether you sit for the bar or not, you hopefully become part of the alumni association. And I reached out to our alumni person, Christopher Kane, who was a graduate of the colleges of law and came back and worked with us. And he's our liaison now. And I asked him to provide me with three things, top three reasons why our alumni membership stands out compared to other schools. He provided me with the reasoning of networking. Our alumni are, he said, likely equivalent to half the bar in the Santa Barbara and Ventura counties. The reputation, because despite being a small school, COL has a very phenomenal reputation, and our alumni have no issues getting jobs, just being in this community. And the third most important part is that it's free. So you have the opportunity to have all these resources as an alumni. In front of us here on the screen is a list of some of the alumni of the colleges of law. We have our retired Santa Barbara District Attorney of Santa Barbara, Joyce Dudley, DA Christy Stanley. The list of names goes on. You can see, you might recognize some of these names, and judges and so forth. So these are students that previously attended COL somewhere in the 55-year history and have had successful careers as a result. Now, this is the part where Jeannie can help come on in. We do study abroad programs, and we offer opportunities not only through the colleges of law, but through our education system that we're a part of. So you will have multiple opportunities to travel abroad. Dr. Niemer unfortunately isn't on the call anymore, but he's in most of these pictures because he always goes on these trips. I'm hoping to get on one soon because I've always been an advocate of them and I love study abroad. But what it looks like is a 10-week course, and then you travel abroad anywhere from 5 to 10 days. And they've been to Cuba, South Africa, Tokyo. Jeannie, do you want to mention where we were last summer?
Last year we were in London. We learned about the origins of our legal system in London.
Yeah. Yeah. And you went to the parliament and
we went to the parliament, we went to the courts of justice,
mm-hmm.
we went to the Tower of London. We saw all of the things that you need to see to really deeply understand how intertwined our legal systems are.
Yes, and to give you an appreciation for the American legal system, learning about laws and rules in other countries really do help develop an appreciation for the rule that you practice. And I will mention also that these courses they act as electives, so you can finance them through financial aid. Not that I'm trying to get anyone in any more debt, but just saying you don't have to come out of the pocket with the cost of all these, and you get academic credit for them. So there's some huge benefits there. Okay, we're going to go into the fun part. This is, besides getting through law school, the most important part of starting law school, and that is the application itself. Most people are fearful. They don't want to start it. They put it off to the last minute. They think it's going to be rigorous and we're going to ask them things they can't answer. And no, it's not. We make this process very simple, and we will provide you, Joshua and I will provide you, and Brianna, who is our hybrid counselor, we provide you with all the tools that you need to get through the process. You could finish this whole process anywhere between 3 days to 2 weeks. We ask that you complete the process once you submit your application within a 30-day time period. But if you're motivated, you'll want to do so quicker. And I encourage that now because our deadline is approaching and it is at the end of November. So if you have not submitted an application and you want to start January 5th in the spring term, just submit the application and we'll walk you through the next steps. But let's go over them in a little bit more detail. You're going to need to submit the online application. There's a $50 app fee, which has not changed since I started here 9 years ago. That tells you that we're not into making money off of anyone. We haven't changed the app fee since I started working here, so it's great. Personal statement. You're going to have to write a personal statement, resume, and that doesn't have to be anything fancy. We don't have any criteria for a resume, but we do want to see at least 10 years of work history. And then official transcripts from all schools attended. If you're watching this presentation and you previously attended another law school, maybe you were disqualified or withdrew, whatever the case, you will need to provide us with your official transcripts and also what's called a letter of standing, which I'll go into more detail about. In order to be eligible to apply for our program, you must have either an associate's degree, conferred associate's degree, a bachelor's degree. You could be considered with 60 units of credit, but they have to be general ed courses and you have to have a specific evaluation that is done through the California bar, and it's called an academic evaluation. So our suggestion, if you're watching this presentation and you want to you're halfway through and you want to stop because I said that, don't do that. That doesn't guarantee that you'll get into law school. You should always try to come in and apply with a conferred degree if you can. Personal statement. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about all of these objectives. You see all these things on the screen here. I put that in here because we basically hand walk you to what the committee is looking for in a personal statement. People are overwhelmed with the thought of a personal statement because it's about themselves and you have a hard time writing about yourself. But here's the thing. Choose 3 or 4 of these subject matters and you write about them. I give you a list, we give you a list of guidelines to take a look at, consider, think about it, see if they apply to you, and include as many of those as you can, because guess what? These came right from the committee. The committee gave us these sets of guidelines because these are the types of things that they want to know about you. So we're providing you with this as a roadmap when you submit the application. We're going to give you the guidelines so that you can write that paper. I want you to spell check it. It needs to be between 750 and 1,000 words. And it's about you. Brag about yourself. Tell us why you're interested in law. Tell the committee. Show that passion. Let that shine through and make your writing a sample, because that's what it is. Make it strong because we want to make sure that you can put words on a paper and they make sense and they're about you. So you should be able to do that. We are working with you closely as applicants to guide you through this process. So don't be afraid of it. Just start it. Write an outline. Do whatever you need to do. Go ahead,
Can I
Jeannie.
offer a couple of insider points here?
Sure.
On the personal statement, take your time to make sure it's good. It's really critical that you get this one right because as Shannon stated, the committee looks at this as your writing sample. Because I said that, don't use AI. All right. I mean, it seems like a foregone thing that you wouldn't ever want to use AI in your personal statement. Don't do it. I know it's tempting. I know you think, hey, it writes better than I do. No, no, it doesn't.
Right.
It's not genuine. And that
Right.
the committee will see right through it. So please take the time to make it your own.
Yeah. Yeah. And you should want to do that because you're the only one that can really talk about yourself and tell us about you. And how do you tell AI to put some passion into it or to express what a law degree means to you? Come on, you can't do that. But another thing that I say too is it's like law school itself. You have to make the time for it. So when you apply, don't just keep putting it off. Make the time for it. Make the time for it in the first 2 weeks. Like you have to get that done anyways. If you can't make the time for a personal statement to write out a personal statement, what makes you think you're going to get through law school and the study that is going to be required, which we'll also go into. And we'll even ask our student with us today about how much she studies. Hopefully it's not more than what I think it is. But next up, the letters of recommendation. Right now you're required to have 2. That may change in the fall to needing only 1, but either way, the letters of recommendation need to come from someone other than a friend, family, or colleague. They cannot be somebody that you grew up with or that knows you or is going to say wonderful things about you. Why wouldn't we want someone to say wonderful things about you? Because we're not looking for the traits that make you wonderful. We're looking for traits that your supervisors see or that your professors see, things about you that are relevant to the law school environment. And I hope you're nice and I hope you're wonderful and loving and giving and all of that. But that's not that's not going to help you get into law school. Sorry. We want to know how are you as an employee? You know, are you responsible? Was there a specific project you worked on? Did your professors recognize how great of a student you are? You know, think about who the most important people that know you in a professional or an academic realm are, and you're going to reach out to them. And on those guidelines, the magic guidelines that I keep referring to, there's a section on those guidelines that we send out to you that you can copy and paste and send to your recommender. They even have our email address on it and everything. It tells your recommender what we're looking for. So again, we're helping you help yourself. Use the resources by referring to the guidelines when you start the process of applying. Moral character questions, always answer these honestly. If not, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt. Excuse my language, but it's true. The questions are simple. Have you ever been on academic probation? If you can't remember, it's been a while since you've been in college, order yourself a transcript. If it states academic probation anywhere on that transcript, then just answer yes to that question. It just gives you the opportunity to explain that period of time. And it doesn't have to be in depth, but most people that have had academic probation periods have, you know, it's been a normal learning curve for them, and they have a chance to just write a brief statement about that. Same with academic discipline or dismissal or any of that. Employer discipline, don't get that as often, but you know, if for some reason you were fired for something and you have, you know, you have an ability to write about it so that the committee understands your side. Arrests, charges, and convictions other than traffic violations. If you've ever been arrested or charged or convicted of any crime, you have to report it, even if it's expunged. When you do if they investigate you, or when you go through the licensure process, they're going to do a deep dive into this, and all that stuff comes bubbling to the surface. Those little DUIs that you thought you could kind of sweep under the rug, nope. I've dealt with students after they've gone through the process of law school, they got through the whole thing, they started the process of licensure, they've got their job is all set up and ready to go, and then they go, oops, I didn't report something, Shannon, and they have to call me back. I have to amend your application because you lied on it technically. And then we have to do a whole thing where it goes to the dean, and we don't want to have to do that. Just answer yes. We send you a form. It has just the basic charge codes on it that you fill out, and then you will be writing a statement about that arrest, charge, or conviction. And I encourage you to be honest, to be transparent, and to take accountability. And that's all I'm going to say. Just take accountability, move on. As long as it's nothing that will prevent you from becoming a licensed attorney, you can proceed forward with law school. And the only people that will see these answers, your application, your statements, anything like this that is very personal to most people, is myself and Joshua, or whoever your counselor is. And we have no judgment. We're here to help you. We want to make sure all your paperwork is clear and that you enter law school and exit law school and become what you want to become. So just, you know, don't worry about having to report those charges. It's part of the process. The last question, if there's any issues that might negatively affect your eligibility, I've never actually had anyone answer yes to that, but if you feel that there are some issues that would would prevent you from being barred, then by all means answer yes, but more than likely you won't have to answer yes to that question. And then last but not least, once you've done with your application process, and even when you start the application process, you can go in and you can update your FAFSA at any time. And you're going to just make sure everything's up to date, all your information is correct. They may require uploading of previous taxes or what have you. Go in there and do that now, because if there's a bunch of paperwork or you get flagged for any reason and it extends the time that it takes to get you financed, it's better to address it on the front end. But you can go in and enter our school code, file for the 26-27 school year, and the Colleges of Law School code is there on the screen, and it's also in all the emails that we send out. I suggest doing that now if you've already applied, even if you're halfway through the process, doesn't hurt. They won't actually reach out to you, and this is very important to understand about financial aid. It's not that the sooner you get the application done, the sooner you get the money. That's not how it works. When you get the application complete, they will then reach out to you about a month or less prior to the start of the program, and they will start the packaging process. But the funds are not distributed into your student account balance until 2 weeks into your first term. So just know that when you start any program, you may have to come out of the pocket with a little bit of money for the cost of books. Then you start school, you're in 2 weeks, you have a student account balance due for just that term. Financial aid comes in and pays that off for you. So that's how it works. If you have any questions, you can reach out to that financial aid number and just ask general questions. They're not going to answer specific questions about you unless you're actually being packaged or in their system. So that's why updating the system with our school code allows them to see your file.
Can we do a quick side note on the
Yeah.
stuff before we leave this? I just
Yeah.
want to note that the federal government's a little slow to respond at the moment. It is not
Mhm.
you, it is them. They are closed, in case you didn't hear that.
Oh, right. There's
So,
that.
so,
I'm
so,
encouraging people to call a closed number.
so,
Thank you, Jeannie, for
so
catching that.
don't panic if people don't
Right.
get back to you at
Right.
FAFSA right away.
Yeah, no. I've never dealt with anything, even when they switched an entire process and system on us last year, and nobody had financial aid until about a week prior. We had people scream into the rooftops like, they won't give me my money yet, or they're not responding. And we just had to go, everybody stay calm. They're processing all the documents, they're processing, and it all played out fine. Nobody got left behind. We're not going to stop you from starting the program because we haven't gotten proof that your financial aid is done. No, you're going to start the JD program. They will get the money in the account to pay that balance, and things will work out. But just stay on track with your emails. Watch your emails once you're admitted into our program, because now you're going to be looking out for communications from financial aid when they're back in the office, that is. But that usually doesn't happen until right before the program starts. So don't fret too much if you don't hear back right away. Now, Ashley, um, thank you. And I should have tied you into a lot of those other questions, segments that I showed prior, but this is really a chance for anybody that's on this call right now, those that are considering applying, those that have started the application, those that want to know what it's like to be a law student. Let me just give you a quick story about Ashley. Ashley, I was doing an in-person information session at the Ventura campus, Joshua and I, and Ashley was strutting right through that room. I said, "Excuse me." And I said, "Who are you?" And not in a mean way by any, I wasn't mad at her. I was just curious who she was. I just didn't, she looked really beautiful in a beautiful Spanish style dress with flowers in her hair. I'm like, "Who are you?" And then she told me who she was. I recognized her name and I knew she was a student. And she said, "Oh, these are people looking at the program. Well, give me just a moment of your time." And she took over the information session and proceeded to tell everyone why they should be College of Law students. So she reached out and asked me after that how she could help and if I ever had anybody that had any questions. So please, if you're on this call, now's the time to just let yourself on camera or unmute yourself. Take advantage of Ashley being here, and she can answer realistically what it's like to be a student. She's in her fourth year. How's that going for you, Ashley?
It's going great. Thank you for asking. I'm actually in class right now with another student who's working on an assignment, and we're having fun. We're having a ball. We just finished
Oh,
a day at our internship at the public defender's office. So I'm excited to be here. And just if anybody has questions, um,
yeah.
I know for me, I thought I wanted to go to one of the bigger universities in Los Angeles. Um, colleges of law is probably the best thing that happened to me with my career in terms of moving on and getting that JD and taking the bar in February. So
Yeah. And do you feel that you were exposed to opportunities as even a current student? Because people have concern that, well, what does the job opportunities look like after? Could you speak on what kind of connections you've made while you've been in the program or maybe with the local legal environment? Is that true, what I'm telling people about the connections that are made?
I think it's really silly because in my mind, I thought, oh, like if I go to USC, for example, there's the Trojan Network, and oh my gosh. But honestly, going to colleges of law for me, just today, I was in my evidence professor's courtroom who taught us evidence during the spring. My criminal law professor is another judge at the Ventura County Superior Court. I live in Ventura. I plan on residing in Ventura, practicing in Ventura. So, my community property professor, so that's if you haven't been married, community property. Um, our our professor is she the presiding judge for the family law court? Yeah. So we had Professor Johnson. So I've just in being in the public defender's office, which that internship opportunity came from taking a felony sentencing course with one of the chief deputy public defenders who was our professor. So I feel even if you don't want to go into public and you're thinking about going into private, we have professors who are practicing attorneys that are making time to teach these courses. And it's different. I want to say it's different than what I was discussing with Dean Price. I don't think she's in this, but we were having this discussion because she went to an ABA accredited school and it was huge and it was one of these top spots. And she was saying, we didn't have access to our professors. You have practicing attorneys that are actually out in the field working, thriving, and coming in and giving you the best of their knowledge and their tips. And if you need to email them, or some of them give you their phone number, it's not uncommon. I mean, you wait until the end of the semester to set up a coffee date, or take that professor and go get a bite to eat and talk. And you're not only getting practical advice for the legal world, but also just advice in general as you finish your journey in law school and getting ready for the bar, or any tips or strategies that they have or things that they didn't think of that they weren't aware of at their time when they were in the same part of their journey.
Right. And I will say too, in regards to job opportunities, I'm approached regularly, and Joshua and all of us in different departments at COL, with the local law firms reaching out to us and going, hey, we just wanted to let you know we're looking for an associate attorney. We have positions available. Would you please put the word out to your graduates or to your students? Sometimes they have positions that are receptionist positions or positions that aren't required to be an attorney. We have a whole networking system, so much that our alumni liaison, Christopher Kane, sends out these opportunities every month. So you have like an inbound stream of job opportunities that are going to happen not only, while you're a student, but then when you graduate. So everybody's on board with helping you get that career launched at the end. We don't have career services per se, but basically sending you job opportunities to your inbox or through LinkedIn. That's pretty nice. It's like it's coming to you. It's going to come to you. If we've got it and we know about it, we're going to send it to you. And you'll also be doing internships like Ashley mentioned. You do 50 hours of pro bono interning as a student, and you get a unit of credit for that. So we're going to connect you in like your second or third year with one of our alumni who works in a field of law that you have developed interest for. So you're going to be already in a law office anyways as a requirement. You can also do additional units of credit by doing additional hours of interning. So all of that you will have as a College of Law student. Does any of our guests have any questions? Did we strike any kind of curiosity? Anything about the masters, the JD, the hybrid, the application? We're here. We're at your beck and call. We scheduled this last minute meeting for any questions from you. I see something in the chat, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Let me check it. Oh, someone heading to class. Oh, Michelle. No, her students had class. She was so nice to let in. Michelle also, I met Michelle. This is kind of how the community environment works here. I met Michelle. She was there to support the graduates, the JD graduates, or the master's graduates last year, JD graduates, I believe. Anyways, I met her at master's. So I met her, in the robing room. And I was talking to master's students about, hey, now that you're done with the master's, what do you think about coming to get a JD, or what does that look like for you? And then Michelle and I struck up a conversation. She says, I'm actually considering taking a master's myself. She says, I really want to do a JD, but I don't know if now is the time. Long story short, Michelle and I had the conversation and she became one of our master's students. And so now she's prepping to finish up that master's. She did that elevated. Man, that went quick, Jeannie. That was just last year I talked to her.
Accelerated.
Accelerated.
She'll be done in spring.
Right. And so now she's prepping for the JD. That's why she came tonight. She wanted to hear about the JD application. So, that's how our community works. That's how the colleges of law work. That's how Santa Barbara works. That's how Ventura works. It's word of mouth. It's who you know. One last thing I want to mention before anybody goes, I haven't actually opened it up for questions, or I haven't seen anything in the chat yet, but if you have been referred to an alumni, and I will say that alumni are a main source for Joshua and I of applicants because they speak so highly about their experience with the colleges of law. If you have been told about the colleges of law from an alumni, this is an opportunity to get a letter of recommendation from that alumni. They will state when they graduated and that they encouraged you to attend the colleges of law. And that's a guaranteed $1,000 scholarship in admissions. So if you're in the process of thinking of applying, or you're in the process of applying and you were referred by an alumni, please do get a letter from that alumni. They may not be able to speak in detail about your work ethic or you still want that very strong letter about your skills, but an alumni could be an additional letter that we add into your file. But either way, if you get a letter from an alumni, that's $1,000 scholarship coming in. If you don't know an alumni, don't stress out. Don't go hit the streets trying to find College of Law alumni. You will have opportunity for scholarship as a student with us no matter what. We're a nonprofit. We get grants. We make scholarship opportunities out of our budget. We make sure that that's a part of our programming. You will have multiple opportunities as a student with the College of Law for many different types of scholarships, depending on, first generation law school student, or maybe someone in a certain interest of law, or many different opportunities for scholarships. You get academic awards if you have the highest grade in your class. You're awarded on the campus in a ceremony, and you get an academic achievement award money. So there's a lot of that happens too. So that's another benefit of being in a nonprofit law school.